Hello everyone, my name is T Hunter. If this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back and thank you so much for coming back. So within the last week, I saw a quote that was getting a little bit of popularity on social media around being the bigger person. And it really stood out to me because it said something along the lines of being the bigger person sounds like accepting the disrespect. And after reading that quote, I realized, oh, so that's why I used to get those twinges of that uneasy feeling and even just straight up resistance. Like, no, I don't want to do that. When I used to hear people tell me that, or if I heard other people give other people that same advice, oh, just be the bigger person. So I wanted to talk about why seemingly good advice, like, oh, just be the bigger person, or, come on, you can be the bigger person. Why would that phrase in and of itself potentially be a trigger for people? Well, I've noticed that for myself. If I'm angry, if my feelings are hurt, if I'm feeling frustrated, whatever is going on, especially if those feelings are stemming from some type of relationship, be it in my relationship with family, friends, colleagues, whatever. Those feelings of frustration, anger, or hurt are coming up, and the idea of being the bigger person was upsetting to me, or more so, the phrase being told to be the bigger person was an upsetting piece of advice because sometimes we can jump to solution mode instead of being an active listener. Sometimes we are so quick to try to fix the problem that we don't really take time to hear what the problem is and how that problem has impacted someone. We're not listening to the emotional effect. Okay, the reason why I'm having a hard time is because this person, I might have considered them to be my best friend. Maybe my spouse and I are not getting along as well as I would like for us to. Or I had a disagreement with my parents. My siblings and I were not seeing eye to eye, and they said or they did something that triggered these feelings of hurt, anger, frustration, whatever they may be. And in those moments, especially in my opinion, for my experience, when I am hurting, the idea of being the bigger person isn't necessarily weighing heavily on my mind. It's not top priority because when I'm hurting, I'm seeing the situation, I'm interpreting it, and experiencing it through the lens of my hurt feelings. So until validation for those feelings has come, it's going to be hard for me to move past them to then put into action whatever behaviors I would like to see myself do. Being the bigger person, it is a muscle that needs to be built. And sometimes we don't always have the tools that we need to be the best versions of ourselves. We might have seen poor examples of conflict resolution. We might have seen poor examples of listening, whether it be from our families of origin, our friend group, or even the people that we've worked with. So this isn't just limited to childhood. We can be seeing poor examples of conflict resolution, poor listening skills, well into adulthood. Sometimes people don't necessarily mature, they just get older, especially those who are battling their own emotional challenges. So it's necessary to pause and take time to hear a person out before jumping to, well, let me help you solve this problem and this is what you need to do. Whoa, pump the brakes, slow down. Did you hear what they said? Can you identify with the feelings that they are expressing? Put yourself in their shoes. How would you feel if you came to someone for advice? Or not even advice. You came to someone in hopes of having a listening ear. And you're upset. Maybe you're even crying. You're furious, you're seething, just all of the emotions that you're feeling are like bubbling up to the surface. And you're feeling like if I don't talk to somebody and process these feelings and these thoughts, I might just explode. from perhaps maybe internalizing them for too long. So you're in that headspace, and all you get from the person that you're talking to is, well, you need to just be the bigger person. So whatever feelings you're having right now, after I just said that, yeah, doesn't feel too great. To have someone gloss over your feelings, to have someone bypass the thoughts that you were trying to process with them. It doesn't feel so great to have someone tune you out in a sense, because in their mind, they're trying to move past the problem and get straight to the solution. But if you don't know what the problem is, how can you effectively problem solve? You can't. So being the bigger person is going to take time. It's going to take practice. Let's just be honest, we are human. So clapping back at people, executing a read, like the read of the century, that can feel really great in the moment. And it can even feel like, oh, I stood up for myself. That feels great. I think I'd like to do that again. I think I'd like to put that into practice on a regular basis. But then when you come down from that high, now whatever situation you are facing with this person that perhaps you were upset with, now they're upset with you. So maybe the bridge hasn't been completely burned, but it's definitely not intact as it was at the beginning. So being the bigger person for me, what that looks like is being mature enough to take responsibility for my feelings and my actions, and choosing never to let someone take me out of my ideal character. Sometimes that means I need to disengage from a conversation. Sometimes that means I don't grant access to people in the same way that I used to, especially if I know, they have these triggering behaviors, or they say these things to me that are very triggering, and they're not in the headspace to hear me when I say, you know what, when you say XYZ or when you do ABC, it makes me feel this way. And in order for us to remain in right relationship with each other, I need to let you know how you're affecting me. If they're not in a headspace to hear that and then apply that constructive criticism to improve our relationship, then perhaps I need to just take a step back and, pray for them, love them from a distance, so that I'm not getting the up close and personal access to toxicity that they're spewing out, whether they are doing it maliciously or if they think that that's, funny, like that's their sense of humor, whatever's going on. I need to take care of my mental health. I need to make sure that my emotional health is good. Because if I don't, that's going to affect my physical health, and it can definitely affect my relationship with God. I'm just going to be honest. As a human, even though we are not supposed to compare God to people because he is not a person, he is a spirit, and he does not make mistakes, and he does not behave as people do, it's still easy to compare him to people. So if I can't trust people, well, sorry, God, now that my feelings are hurt and they've never been validated and I don't feel like people have stood up for me, I'm questioning whether or not you're going to be able to fight this battle for me. I'm questioning whether or not you're going to be able to fight the battle through me. I'm questioning whether or not you're going to show up for me the way that I need you to show up, because people have not shown up for me. So the phrase, be the bigger person, can be invalidating if you're telling it to a person who has expressed, you know what, I've never had somebody stand up for me. I've never had people in my life that I expected to show up for me actually show up when I needed them to. So instead of trying to force someone to work this muscle that they don't have, why not listen and try to collaborate with them? Let's make this a team effort. Okay, so you want to be a better listener. Okay, let's practice. You want to do better with expressing yourself. Okay, let's practice that. Like, what does that look like? So instead of giving someone a one-size-fits-all answer or one-size-fits-most. Why not talk to them to get a tailor-made solution? Help them develop the tools that they will need in order to rise above adversity and to be the best version of themselves. Sometimes being the bigger person means that they're going to have to walk away from people that maybe they never thought they would have to walk away from. And teaching them that it's okay. That might hurt to let go of some friendships, to let go of some relationships, to let go of some opportunities. But what is worth more? Your overall health or those connections, those relationships, those opportunities that are draining you? Yeah, so be the bigger person. How about, what version of yourself would you like to be? Despite everything that has happened to you, despite the things that people have said to you, said about you, how do you want to handle this? Let people know that they don't have to tolerate abuse. They don't have to simply suck it up when someone disrespects them. No, they can advocate for their needs, they can be assertive, and they can teach people how to best treat them. So yeah, never be afraid to do things differently. And it's okay if you struggle in the beginning. It's just like working out. Sometimes you might try to put into practice the tools towards being the best version of yourself, and you're going to be met with resistance. But instead of running from that resistance, push through it, because as that resistance comes, you're going to build that muscle, and it's going to be stronger. And the more that you put it into practice, the more effective it's going to be. So yeah, let's practice listening to people. Let's practice collaborating with them on being the best versions of themselves, instead of simply trying to tell them what to do and how they need to be the bigger person when they're coming to you from a place of hurt, frustration, anger, and maybe even confusion. Maybe they don't know what to do and how to handle conflict. So in those moments, listening is far better than simply trying to throw out solutions. Well, that's all that I have for today. So if you have enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and hit that bell so that you never miss a future post. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.